I saw Inside Out 2 the other day. My daughter, she wanted to go see it. It's actually pretty cool. She's been pretty excited about it, so I was like, let's do it. I'll cut to the point. The movie was pretty great. It even made me cry. You might be familiar with the storyline. It follows a teenager named Riley going through puberty and has these character representations of her emotions. One of the main characters, like Joy, she's cute and bright. Anger, little stocky red little midget. Fear, a little timid character. You also got the introduction of a few new emotions, mainly anxiety, embarrassment, and you get like a little glimpse of nostalgia. These same characters are also inside everybody else in the movie. They're the same characters, but they'll have like, if like the mom has glasses, so the emotions will have the glasses. Like the dad, they'll have the mustache. Things like that, just giving it the personal touches. It's been a huge hit so far. It's probably the biggest movie of the year. I think it already surpassed Dune, and it might even be bigger than Deadpool and Wolverine when it's all said and done. I do believe it is the biggest movie Pixar has ever made, and I think it's genius how they released it while the kids are on break from summer school. Taking a look here at the reviews, you can tell people are loving it too. They're really having a good connection to it. You could kind of say it's a coming-of-age movie for kids going into the adolescent years. It's pretty inspiring too. I mean, the way they created the scientific metaphors, I definitely think a lot of kids will be inspired to become neurologists or psychologists because of this movie. It's kind of like planting the seeds right now of what's going on in our minds and bodies and bringing awareness to them about mental health. And I could definitely see people in the future saying, oh, I got into this because, I saw this movie, yada, yada, yada. A big part of this movie is how your memories kind of influence your belief system and the effect good memories and bad memories have on your personality and their effect on your character. They also have this wonderful visual representation of different parts of your mind. I'm not sure if this picture is canon, but I've seen it on the web a few times. You kind of get to see it here. You have dreams, imagination, friends, literally train of thought. And in the movie, you even get to see a brainstorm in action, which was actually like tons of little light bulbs, which were the ideas in a tornado, in a tornado of sorts. At certain points of the movie, you get to see circumstantial factors and interactions with others and how they have an effect on your feelings, such as like trying to say the right thing to look cool, or that shit that happens when you meet a girl, or when someone puts you on the spot and you're trying to be witty. Also, when noticing certain physical cues like your body language and behaviors or facial expressions and reacting to that in an instant. Anxiety is the main character that's introduced in this movie. She's kind of like a deep analytical thinker who's super hyper. She shares the spotlight with Joy and at times feels like the main character of the movie, which is pretty dope because she definitely brings you along for a wild ride. I couldn't help but see the relation to them as the coffee guy from Mad TV or Corky Romano when he rips that bag of powder and it gets pretty lit. To be honest, Anxiety is kind of crazy and does some very manipulatory, downright shady shit. At one point, she gets the other characters and traps them inside of a bottle. Like the figure of speech, bottled emotions. You also get a glimpse of nostalgia, which I think would be a character in the upcoming movies. In the future, Riley would have even more memories as she grows up to reflect on, given that she's only had so many memories up to this point in her life. Oddly enough, I don't recall having anxiety as a teen. That stuff has become more common over the years. I remember being nervous, I remember being scared, but we're in a different generation, and with that more awareness, I'm sure some of that stuff kind of overlaps. I definitely do get anxiety nowadays, like the anxiety after a bender, like a good night of drinking. I'm definitely no expert in neuroscience. I'm just a dude making YouTube. But if you ever come across the work of Andrew Huberman or Robert you can't help but wonder what their interpretation of this movie might be like. I do have a little link here that I'm going to leave in the description that kind of has a actual neurologist review. It's an article if you want to read it. But yeah, these two, I strongly think they should have a film breakdown or like a movie review. I think their interpretation of the movie with what they know, I think would be just absolutely valuable. I think it would have been cool to have characters such as hormones, like testosterone and dopamine. I think they would bring so much to the table. Who knows, maybe they might tap into that in the future. Or maybe we get like a fan edit, someone who knows how to do animations, and they can make like their own little character movie about hormones. I think that'd be cool. I mean, seeing this movie kind of put me back in my teenage days. I'm just like, damn, if I had an Inside Out 2, that shit would be pretty wild. My experience as a teenager, growing up in the inner city, during those years, I kind of had some traumatic experiences. There's definitely some street involvement, some sex, and lots of drug abuse. You know, the usual shit that teenagers do when they're growing up. I'm sure you've been there or are there now, and I'm not the only one that went to some fucked up shit. But looking back, I think my feelings were a bit amplified in my youth, to say the least. You can even label them as super feelings or just feelings to the next 10th. It was definitely like feelings on steroids when I was a teenager. I don't feel the same way about stuff today, like the way I used to when I was young. Maybe as you get older, you kind of get numbed out. I've probably blown out a couple fuses along the way, however, just abusing things. For future movies, they should probably make a character that is desensitized and incapable of feeling. Maybe depression. I would put a dark twist on a kid's movie, but I'm just kind of messed up in the head like that. In all honesty, this movie was fun, like I mentioned earlier. I even cried during certain parts. So if you have kids or young people in your life, it's a good time. Go check it out. But it's definitely not the best kids movie. I think people are kind of overdoing it with that.